Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning,
How
sir.
are you all?
Good morning.
Good morning. Good.
Great.
So, it was heavily raining in Bengal overnight. Now the rain has stopped. Have a beautiful morning. Great. People are joining still.
Sir,
Yes.
yesterday, as I mentioned, right, I again felt that thing that I was feeling some rise in temperature. But it doesn't happen to me fully. It happens only to some extent, and then I rest for a while. Yesterday whole day I was feeling the same, and then today morning I feel okay. So it doesn't go for me. It doesn't go to that high temperature, and that thing
It will
doesn't
go.
happen.
It will go.
Okay.
Slowly and gradually it will go.
Okay.
So, but we cannot do anything to bring it immediately, kind of. Yeah.
Right.
This is body's mechanism and programmatic aspect. We don't have a direct control over that.
Right.
Yeah. Welcome, Lali, Atul. Atul, can you introduce yourself, please? Atul Rastogi.
Sorry, sir, this is Shilpi.
Oh. Okay. Shilpi. Yeah. Your profile picture is there, but name is Atul Rastogi. That's why I was wondering.
Yes.
Yeah. How are you, Kaushik?
Yeah. Hello. Yes, sir. Good morning.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Good morning.
Yes. Yeah,
So,
I'm good, sir.
Yeah. Could you go through the booklet somewhat, flipping through?
Yeah. I skimmed through it once
Okay.
because I was
Right.
feeling sleepy, and yeah, last night I had a fruit dinner. So
Oh.
yeah,
Good
in
one.
the morning,
Good.
like I had really nice bowel
Good.
movements.
Yeah. Right. Lali, are you able to follow the proposals? Lali, are you able to hear me? I'm not sure if Lali is able to hear. Okay, her audio is not connected. Rohit, do you want to say something? You unmuted for a while. Yeah, you are.
No. I'm unmuted only to say good morning to you all.
Okay.
So,
Good morning.
yeah.
Good morning. Yeah.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah. Good morning, Dr. Dubey. So I'm actually trying to follow up the new people, those who came across with these proposals for the first time. Taran. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Kalyan sir.
Yeah. So how are you doing?
I'm all right. Thank you.
Any thought on the proposal? Anything coming up which is bothering, perhaps? Yeah, lots of.
No, but lots to assimilate. And I did go through the slides that I had.
Booklet. Yeah.
But yes, I think there's lots to assimilate. A lot of it I am aware because of my conversation with Nandini earlier many times. But there's a lot of new information to assimilate. So I am doing that, and yes, kind of enjoying the entire journey.
Great. Thank you for being
Thank
here.
you.
Yeah, I think Meghna and Preeti both have joined. Hi, Meghna. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah. So, anything which is bothering?
No, not at all.
Nothing.
Looking
Great.
forward.
Yes. Today we'll be diving a little deeper. Yeah. Hi, Preeti.
Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, this is Nandini. So anything, Preeti, from your side, which is maybe bothering out of the proposals that we went through yesterday?
Bothering?
Bothering means kind of stopping you to go further. Like, no, this is kind of unacceptable or unagreeable.
Uh,
yeah, something like that.
I don't want to have that kind of outlook as yet, because
Okay.
for me, even the raw life experience is very new. So I think I'll just, like, every morning I am कल जो किसी ने सवाल पूछा, cough is coming out,
Mhm.
talcum is coming out.
Mhm.
So there was at one point that I thought that maybe because I'm eating a lot of fruits and all, it is coming out,
Mhm.
or it is getting developed. But
Mhm.
at the same time, I see that my like breathing has become more efficient.
Hmm.
So I am myself speculating and understanding what is happening with my body.
So are you able to identify the conservation of vitality because of that modification of the
I am.
food?
I am.
Yeah.
And I think the cough that is coming out is just the what was
Impact
that,
of the
crisis.
conserved vitality.
Ah,
It's not yet crisis, healing crisis,
Healing
because
crisis.
the temperature is not raised. Is it? Is it? The temperature is raised?
temperature that had happened
That had
last
happened.
month. I had
Okay.
a fever, like a 1 week
Mhm.
fever.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Great. So let's start then. If any other point is not there from anyone. Xenia, are you okay with with the pace and proposals?
Yes, sir. All good.
All
I'm
good?
with you. Yes.
Great,
Yes.
great, great. Great, guys. So we started our journey with understanding of homeostasis. And homeostasis, from homeostasis, we brought in a few evidential support of the homeostasis, because whatever are included here as concepts are identifying the facts available around us from our experience and observation. So for homeostasis, we identified the property of liquid of the equal surface equilibrium is one of the examples of the homeostasis. Thermal equilibrium is another example of homeostasis. And then homeostasis, we identified that homeostasis is a knack in nature to bring a balance in vitality or the energy distribution. If there is a conflict in the distribution of energy, then it comes to an equilibrium to reduce the conflict. So in case of organism, the energy is termed as vitality, which is a terminology of pure nature cure or nature cure per se. Then we understood the vitality concept through some illustration, which are tentative illustrations, but to make us understand the concept of vitality. There we identified some organic engagement and then additional engagement of vitality, and deducting these two engagements, the leftover is the conserved vitality. So we had some allegorical examples. We started understanding of when we opt any choice which is additional, which is not mandatory for life, how it affects the conserved vitality portion. And when we opt out that particular engagement with understanding, then how the increment in the sense of life or the conserved vitality happens. That we started understanding. Then we identified how sudden death happens, how ideal and mature death happens. Then we had some understanding of the voice of the organism as the indicators of homeostasis, which lead us or indicate us towards the conservation so that the homeostasis can be maintained. The voice of the organism, if are not heard of, then the impact goes on the vitality conservation. Because of the low conserved vitality, the output is hampered. Output hampered means the toxin elimination is hampered to start with, and later it affects the excretion also. So we identified that retainment of the toxin is nothing but the toxemia, which happens because of the over depletion of energy, which is enervation. Now, when we suffer from enervation followed by toxemia, then body raises its temperature on its own, and we undergo a crisis for our healing. We call that state of being as healing crisis, and commonly known as fever. Through fever, body achieves a temperature, higher temperature, and reduces the density of the toxic matter so that the elimination can happen specially for those accumulated toxin, and we get back the homeostasis. But there comes the discomfort during the process, and due to the discomfort, we bring some element as suppression to avoid the depression, the discomfort. So the suppression leads to the chronification of the acute condition, and we lead to the further chronified stages of disease. We identified these 7 stages, and these can be reversed also in the same order. These are actually reversed in the same order by the body if we allow the body to conserve vitality. If we reduce the suppression and stimulation, stimulation is increasing the pleasure artificially, and pain is suppression of the pain without rejecting the stimulus or stimuli of the pain. So when we remove stimulation and suppression, then the conservation starts and the reversal also starts. In the process of the reversal, the pain and pleasure will be parts and partials of the life. Just that the duration of the pain and pleasure will keep on reducing, and a state of equanimity is achieved when we travel from A to B. This we understood. Then we identified 7 proposals for all the organisms, as in the disease is needed, disease is supported naturally, and body doesn't fight with disease. Further, we identified that infection is an effect of toxemia, not the cause of toxemia. Similarly, deficiency of elements, the elemental deficiency, is also an effect of toxemia, not the cause of toxemia. We already identified that suppression complicates the health, and we underwent the theory of toxemia as a whole on day 1. Then it comes that toxemia is the primary physical disease that we have, and other all names are symptomatic nomenclatures. Those are the effect of toxemia. If we work on the toxemia through conservation of vitality, then all these symptoms ultimately go away. But if we target the symptom directly, that leads to the suppression and chronification of the toxic state. Toxemia we identified as increase in the density of the blood. Here comes one property that we identify as density. Density is the thickness of any matter, and that defines the state of matter also. Solid state is higher dense, then the liquid state is lesser dense, and further gaseous state is further lesser dense. So we identified these 3 properties which are interconnected: density, speed, and heat. We understood that if the density is increasing, then speed and heat are decreasing. And if density is decreasing, then speed and heat are increasing. So density and speed are inversely proportionate, and density and heat are also inversely proportionate. So while understanding this, we plotted nature and life in 2 spectrums, where density, speed, and heat are increasing and decreasing respectively from left to right. As you see on the image, from left to right, the density is increasing and speed and heat are decreasing. So from formless to form, we see the increase in the density, and within the form, we see the increase of density from living to non-living to artificial. So artificial substances are non-biodegradable because this has got higher density and no natural water at all, and the speed and heat are very least in this artificial substances such as plastics. Living beings do have higher speed than the non-living, even if it is organic. So with this identification, we went ahead with the life forms identification and different states of the life, different stages of life. For example, from healthy state to acute disease and to chronic disease is the increment of density. So density increases progressively from healthy state to acute to chronic. Here we try to understand the state of spirituality also. We identified the state of spirituality. If it is a holistic state of spirituality, then it is a holistic conservation of vitality in all three domains of physical, physiological, and psychological. If it just remain in the psychological domain of conservation of vitality, which is definitely questionable, but if it is claimed so, then the fragility cannot be denied anytime. And the proof that we see that there are a lot of spiritual leaders, they have lost their lives pretty early of their life because of the non-conservation of vitality in the physical and physiological domain. So these are not any opinionated or hatred or appreciation towards these people, just the identification of the facts that if we do not conserve vitality in physical and physiological domain, that cannot be an excuse in nature. In nature, the toxemia will happen, and compromise with the lifespan also happens progressively. Now we identified that depletion of vitality is the cause of disease, and understanding this, we identify that if we flip the depletion with conservation, then the reversal of disease happens. Because with vitality, we throw out the toxin, and the reversal of disease happens at any stage of disease. Yes, Meenu, you want to say something?
Yeah, just that's all this is happening programmatically, as there is no intention of the body, like it is happening in the body, tendency driven aspect it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one in regard to what point you are proposing this?
Just in the last slide, like conservation of vitality when we are explaining this.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes, yes.
So,
So we'll
the
understand.
reversal is also a programmatic aspect.
Yes.
It's not as if it is the body's intention.
Yes. Ultimately, we cannot have an intentional control on the reversal. It will be a body's programmatic aspect. Yes. So we'll go for those who are finding this intention, tendency, are difficult terminologies to assimilate. We'll go deeper into these specific terminologies today. When we unfold the topic of mind, we'll go deeper into that aspect. Then we started discussing about the reversal process. To reverse, we need to conserve vitality, and to conserve vitality, I need to identify the attributions of vitality, which are the factors that actually becomes very vivid parameters of our vitality conservation. We identified these three domains: genetic, environment, and lifestyle. Then we identified that the lifestyle domain is one area. Lifestyle area is one area where we have the complete control as an individual. Other all things are not in our control directly. Genetic is absolutely not in our control. Environment, we can definitely contribute, but ultimately it's a community effort. We need to be a part of the community which protects environment and supports nature. But ultimately, for our own health, we need to take control, take charge of our own lifestyle. And lifestyle has got three domains, further three subdomains of physical, physiological, and psychological. In other words, inputs, activities, and mind are three domains that we have identified where we can actually take the control of vitality conservation. Identifying these three domains, we also identified that input and activities are basically matter management. Input is directly matter which we consume. in terms of radiation, air, water, and solid food. These 4 factors: radiation, air, water, and solid food. These 4 factors. And in activities, it is the management of internal chemical. That is also a matter. That is also a form, not formless. So chemical management through the activities in terms of spinal care, exercise, and sleep, which will take up today. We have underwent the input factors. Now mind will start today after the revision. First 2 sessions approximately will take up for revisions and question answers. Then we'll take up the mind topic, which is basically idea management, thought management, and intention management, as Meenu was proposing. Now, in input matters, regular access of solar radiation, mindful deep breathing, active deep breathing that we discussed yesterday, and needful pure water. Needful pure water is consumed optimum if we increase the raw consumption, because the raw food contains 80 to 90% of pure water, the purest water rather, in nature. So if we increase the raw consumption as solid food, then the water consumption is also compensated. So separate water requirement will be drastically reduced in that case. And if at all we need to consume separate water, that also through observation of the voice of the organism, which is the thirst in this case. Without thirst, if due to some idea we overload ourselves with water, that becomes a depletion of our energy in the digestive system and the kidneys both. So yes, now these 3 factors. Activity matters. Activity matters. Under activity matters, there are 3 factors that will start today. Yes, Anshu, do have a question? Please, Anshu.
Yes, sir. I have a question. So when you talked about thirst, right?
Yes.
So when I started input of raw matter a lot, I realized that I don't feel thirsty.
Okay.
But there are a lot of times that I don't feel thirsty, but I feel that my throat is dry and skin is dry sometimes. But even then, thirst is not there, sir. So what do you call this?
What do you call thirst? How do you identify thirst?
I should feel that I want to drink water.
Yeah, the dryness of the throat is the thirst,
Okay.
which you are
Okay.
denying. So if there is a dryness in throat, then that
Okay.
indicates that you require something moist to give to your thoughts, give to your throats. So that means the water here.
Yeah, but then I don't feel like drinking water.
Yeah, it's sipping water actually, which is proposed is sipping water. So that we are not drinking animal, like we need not to drink ghat water kind of, it is at once a glass of water is not needed. Just sipping water and observing whether the dryness is there still or not, and then again go ahead with another sip if it is needed. Yes, Shilpi. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Sir, why does deep breathing separately, why is that not beneficial, like intentionally?
Because it's a separate thing, separate, it's not combined with the life.
Okay, like pranayama and all, what is that?
Yeah, that's what is the
That's-
breathing technique, breathing
so that's
exercise that
not-
is, that is not proposed in Pure Nature Cure. What is proposed is the active breathing, deep breathing. Active deep breathing means whatever that we are doing in day-to-day life, we need to bring our mindfulness to the breathing. Because breathing is such an important aspect of life, it is inseparable. It is inseparable. For a few minutes also, you cannot survive without breathing. That has to be identified by us. So separately, if we are doing a breathing exercise, that's a kind of separate specific dependency we are bringing into life, which is not the holistic assimilation with the life.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, Meghna. Yeah, please, Shilpi, go ahead.
Some
if you
other
have another
questions also actually
Yeah.
I had. You said yesterday that CRISPR perception leads to conserving energy.
Come again. I lost
CRISPR perception.
CRISPR
Perception
perception.
leads
Yeah.
to
yeah.
conserving energy. What does that mean?
Can we take this little
In
later?
the-
Because
yes,
the
yes.
mind section, because perception, maybe the term is unknown for few.
Yes.
So
yes.
let's not bring any confusion.
Materialistic. In the we say it's a pure nature cure is a materialistic science.
Matter
Can you
driven.
please explain that again?
Yes. So when we are driven by matter, that means what are we? Basically, we are the voice of the organism. The sensation that we have, that we identify individually, is the existence of individual. That is what is we. When you talk that you are Shilpi, you identify your own sensation first. That is your primary identification. Now, your sensation needs to be self-regulated. If it goes unregulated, then the life gets a lot of disturbances. Now, regulated sensation happens when you are driven by the matter or the action inputs only. Again, this topic is again
Yes,
a mind
yes,
topic,
sorry,
which
yes,
will be again unfolded there. So
yes.
if you are driven by the ideas, not the matter, then the sensation goes for a looped experience, because the ideas are endless and sensation caused by the ideas are also endless. So
Yes.
you are never relaxed, never rested. You are always working with your sensation. But if you are matter driven, so the sensation caused by the matter will have an end, because matter has an end, and
Yes.
you end up conserving vitality. So we'll go deeper.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
There was something on if consciously done activities are physical and unconsciously done activities are physiological. That's in the definition of physical and physiological in the notes. Then does mindful breathing become physical from physiological?
Mindful breathe become physical to physiological. Yes. Physical to physiological.
Yeah, it does
Yes.
become.
It
Yeah.
does become.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And on page 16 in the notes, you say, we've said all these activities are happen naturally and rationally. What does rationally mean here?
Rationally means the conservation of energy. Rational aspects, as we identify,
Yes.
are the aspects where naturally conservation of energy is programmed. Naturally, conservation of energy is programmed, which is the knack of nature. So whatever is happening naturally can be considered as rational, and which is targeted towards the conservation of energy.
Fine.
Yeah.
Fine, sir. Thank you so much.
Yes. In the circadian cycle, you saw something. 16, page number 16.
Can I say one?
Yeah.
sentence?
Meanwhile, Meenu, you can say. Let me go to that page.
Rationally is actually something that is happening in the order of physical to physiological to psychological, and then like continuation of that order.
And not the reverse that we'll come to later.
Yeah, you will come to the mind
Yes,
topic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah, Meghna, please go ahead.
Yeah, I just
Hi.
want to congratulate you because
Uh-huh.
yesterday I was not able to understand the terminology, and today I'm working backwards and I'm trying to relate things and I'm understanding how input matters, activity matters, and mind matters are very important for conservation of vitality, which itself is important for prevention of toxemia and therefore the after effect of all the toxemia, what leads to it. So I just I was able to relate it. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Taran.
So I think here you also mentioned about water. So sometimes we are asked to drink X liters of water. So
Yes.
that is also not advisable.
That is defied. The proposal defies that, because the voice of the organism is your driver. If you do not, so who will decide what you need? Somebody else, some scripture, some prescription, or you yourself? Obviously you yourself, right? you need to look at your indicators and identify your requirement. That's what is the natural programmatic route. So for water, we have a prominent, vivid indicator, which is thirst. So if you are thirsty, and at times if we are into the packaged food and processed food consumption, then there will be a lot of thirst to liquidate those material for the excretion and all. So, so thirst is the indicator. So we need to be mindful about identifying our voice of the organism primarily. Make sense? Or yeah. Right. So any other question, anyone? Yeah, Rash.
Yeah, I had a question on lack of maintaining homeostasis. So if, yeah,
yes.
So if every living organism has that lack, then why is that black bar, you know, that additional vitality engagement, why does that not like stop? So why does body not indicate us that you should not be engaging into additional stuff, because then your actual vitality is getting lower and then toxemia is getting accumulated?
It does indicate, actually. We do not identify it because of the desensitization. What it does indicate programmatically. Now, why at all this black portion is there? If that is the question, that has an answer.
Yeah.
So why at all the black is there? Why in nature, if it is unneeded or overloading our vitality, then why not there is a scenario where there is no black?
Yes.
Now
yes.
the black is our achievement. Black is our achievement. Black is our neural achievement. You know, so other than human being, Homo sapiens, this black naturally doesn't happen to any other organism mostly, because we are equipped, we are programmed with a complicated, highly evolved neural structure, which identifies the importance of pleasure in life. All organisms are hedonistic, pleasure seeking, but human being identified that pleasure is an important aspect, and let's replicate pleasure. This is an achievement, actually, the neural achievement, which ended up depleting us. That's a different story altogether. Yeah. But it is an achievement of our neural capability of modifying the circumstances to enhance the pleasure. Now, again, going deeper, this is another neural achievement that we all are sitting here to identify this derailment, this misalignment. This is also a deeper layer of the neural achievement. So we cannot deny the neural capacity that we have and the capability that we execute. So it is an impact of the neural capacity. And today, this discussion is another deeper impact of the same neural capacity.
Okay, so our own neural capacity can be destructive or constructive for ourselves.
Yeah, we can term that way, but it's a kind of evolution of the neural structure that we can identify. Like for example, when you are studying mathematics and studying a concept and doing some sums, you will do a lot of mistakes initially, but you end up being an expert of that concept when you go over the mistakes. So mistakes are parts of the journeys. So that has happened. Anshu, can we take the question in the next session? Because I'm getting a blink. Yeah, I'm getting a blink that it's going to end. So we'll start the session as usual with 5 minutes of silence using the same link. Please do join. Thank you.